Good morning. I think that was like louder than Thursday's good morning. We're a few but mighty group that's left here. All right, so let's talk, as Doug very helpfully teed up, about the role of search in the evolving world of marketing. Over the last few days, I think we have heard several presentations about how companies are trying to diversify out of the lower funnel and out of search marketing, but it still plays a really crucial role for all of us. In fact, 40% of online ad spend is still spent on search marketing. By dollar amounts, that's twice as much as the top offline format, television. So it would be a real shame if we let this conference close out without spending some time talking about the channel that is still the king of retail marketing, online search. So I'm going to cover the importance of search marketing not only as a lower funnel demand capture channel, but also in the mid and upper funnels as well. And then how search insights have also fueled my mid and upper funnel marketing on other channels. And finally, there's been a lot of innovation in the search space in the last few years. Has it actually simplified our jobs? I've got some perhaps hot takes. So anyways, jumping in, our old friend, the marketing funnel. I think we can all agree that search is a very effective lower funnel marketing tool. Generates a lot of conversions. We don't have as much trouble measuring it with some multi-touch attribution models as we do with some of the other upper funnel strategies that we're having to get creative with. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this part. Let me make a case for search marketing as an awareness channel. I have a 1.5-year-old at home. I consider myself a new parent. I was going to ask you how many parents are in the room, but I've met most of you now, and I know that there are a lot, so I think we can skip that part. Yeah, but us new parents, kids need so much stuff. So much stuff. I actually told my mom, I don't need a bridal shower. My now husband and I, we live together. We have plenty of things. We don't need gifts. But when I have my first child, oh, will there be a baby shower? Because I'm going to need a lot of new things. So over the last 1.5 years, I have never needed so many new products and brands, and I have never spent more time in my life on Google search. Are these shoes familiar to anyone? Have you seen these before? I have seen them on the foot of nearly every kid in my Boston neighborhood last summer. Had never noticed them before. I didn't have a kid until last summer. And so one day I finally pulled out my phone and I searched popular toddler shoes with holes. What are these mystical shoes that everyone's wearing? And sure enough, right at the top of the results, sponsored shopping, sponsored text, Native. The brand's called Native. And they are very popular. And so a few days later, here's my son wearing his Native shoes that he adores. Actually, since making these slides in the last few days, I realized, I need to get some new Native shoes for this summer. And just yesterday, my husband texted me a photo. My son was so excited about his new blue Native shoes that he insisted on wearing them yesterday in the 45-degree Boston weather. So anyways, new to me brand, discovered it through search. Right? And that's just one example, but you could maybe call that word of mouth a little bit because I was seeing the shoes on other people's feet. But let's talk about some more marketing examples. I don't know if Lindsay is still here from Coterie, but I, as a new parent, spend a lot of time on Instagram, and all of my content is now for parents. So I really enjoyed her talk the other day because I am very much in your target audience. And so as I'm scrolling parent Instagram, as I'm listening to podcasts about parenting, as I'm streaming Miss Rachel, I've often seen ads for a certain toddler meal delivery service. And I've clicked on some of the ads, I've explored this company, but you know what else I've done? I have opened Google search, and I've just generally been interested in this concept of pre-made toddler meals. And so I have searched and explored the space. What other brands are out there doing this? Who's healthiest? Who can deliver fastest? Who has the broadest selection? I've done a lot of product exploration and become aware of new brands through that. So don't just take my word for it. A recent survey showed that search engines are still the #1 source that people are using for product research. over and above social media, above online marketplaces like Amazon, above word of mouth from friends and family. So not only in the consideration and education stage, but also in the awareness stage. So the quick pitch for making sure your search marketing is set up well to capture mid and upper funnel traffic. Make sure you've got strong keyword coverage for generic upper funnel queries, and that your bidding algorithms are not under-investing in those unintentionally. For me, I think of upper funnel as, say, furniture, just furniture, or bedroom furniture, right? Versus something much more lower funnel like white corduroy love seat, right? That would be more of a lower funnel, perhaps higher conversion rate query. So make sure that you're investing properly in those upper funnel keywords. Think about conquesting on your competitor brand keywords, right? Again, it's gonna be more expensive, but it's gonna generate awareness. And finally, the good old-fashioned inbound marketing, creating ideas and advice pages, helping educate consumers, and then sponsoring those in search results. One of my top such pages is how to choose the right size rug, right? So that'll help make sure that we're showing up in the consideration phase as well. All right, so hopefully now everyone's still really excited about search marketing. I know we're trying to diversify away from it, but there's still a lot of value there, right? So now let's talk about how search insights are also a goldmine for other marketing channels. So as folks know, people are starting to search in other new ways. Online search engines are still the primary format for most Americans trying to do online search, but about 24% are actually considering social media to be their primary form of online search. And surprise, surprise, that trend is led by the youngest generation of adults, Gen Z. These young people are always making waves. We're always trying to figure out how they behave differently from the rest of us. So the majority of Gen Z still considers search engines to be their primary form of online search, but a whopping 46% of them go to social media first. The point is that the lines between search and social media marketing are blurring. At Wayfair, the search and social teams sit right next to each other. And I want to give a few examples of the ways that we've traded insights recently and will be going into 2025. So I'll start with actually my favorite example, trending keywords. But not just your top keywords, not just your biggest, growth keywords, but the really obscure ones. The ones that you see in your Search Insights report and you think, what is that? Is that relevant to my business? Are you monitoring your shopping insights Search Insights report for those keywords? Here's an example. Are people familiar with corner Christmas trees? I'm seeing nods in both directions. I saw some no's, but I actually did see some nodding, so that's good. I wasn't familiar with this term when I saw it pop up in my Search Insights report. So what do? I drop it into Google. What is a corner Christmas tree, Google? Please tell me, because Google is actually really, really good at interpreting search intent. Just the vast amount of search queries that come through and then the data that they can monitor on what people are clicking on really helps them interpret some of these more obscure keywords. So anyways, a corner Christmas tree is this kind of a wedge of an artificial tree that fits nicely into the corner of your apartment. Half Christmas trees were also trending in Q4 2024, which is just, a flat-backed half of an artificial tree. So anyways, social media content creators were just organically talking about these. It was not sponsored. They weren't necessarily pushing any one brand. They're just talking about this unique, cool product and how well they fit in their small apartments. So I turned to my left, said, hey, Meta team, you guys on this? TikTok, guys, are we pushing corner Christmas trees? Because they're trending, and we got to participate in this conversation right now because we got a vast selection. We're showing up at the top of the Google search results. Ooh, this slide. I'm excited for this slide because I could probably skip it at this point because Joe from Satva and Doug from Estee Lauder covered it for me already. Everyone is talking about using your branded search volume as a KPI for upper funnel brand marketing, awareness marketing. So I'll give my quick example, but I honestly think that's going to be one of my key takeaways from this conference is the importance of that as a brand marketing KPI. So here's my example. This is search volume for Wayfair. in Illinois versus Massachusetts. We opened up our first brick and mortar store outside of Chicago in May 2024. And you can see how search volume spiked for Wayfair right around that opening time period. But more importantly, it has remained at sustained elevated levels almost a year later relative to Massachusetts, which is typically our highest brand awareness state, thanks to our headquarters being located there. Traditionally, I think folks have monitored site traffic for e-commerce or in-store traffic for my omni-channel friends as a primary KPI for brand marketing, but that's noisy, right? It's noisy. It's hard to pinpoint the impact of specific activities. And as we talked about in our Q&A with Doug yesterday, there's a lot of unqualified traffic that can show up. And so with branded search, not only is that highly qualified traffic, but you're also going to be able to mine the keyword insights for the impact of specific initiatives. I'm looking forward to measuring how search volume for Way Day, which is our premier sale of the year, usually comes up in the spring. Keep an ear out if you're shopping for your home. Keep an eye out for Way Day. But I'm looking forward to seeing how search volume for that specific query grows year over year to help monitor our investment in upper funnel marketing for that promotion. All right, lastly, my share of marketing coming from new versus existing customers, having made the case for a full funnel search marketing strategy, I like to think I've done a pretty good job of that. But display marketing, it's a little harder to measure. The impact of view through attribution, perhaps I'm a little bit less confident that I am really capturing the full funnel on display today. And so I compared what is the share of my ad spend on new customers versus existing customers on Google Shopping versus Google Display. And it turns out my acquisition goals were too conservative on display marketing. I was actually capturing more new customers on shopping than I was on display. So I found this to be a really helpful insight for adjusting my media mix across different campaigns on display. All right, so those are some of my favorite search insights that have informed mid and upper funnel marketing. Now, last section, let's talk about the latest innovations in search marketing over the last 5 or so years that I've been working in paid search. All right, so over the last few years, there have been 2 innovations that I would consider now tried and true best practices for my team. They have very much simplified my job and expanded the reach and profitability of my search marketing campaigns. And then we're going to cover 2 that maybe haven't been as successful yet. First of all, smart bidding. Oh my gosh, goodbye daily bid uploads. Goodbye bid modifiers on devices and audiences and geographies and time of day, day of week. I could go on. We could even simplify our campaign structures. We didn't need single product groups anymore. Our ad groups on text didn't need to be so specific. Smart bidding not only saved me time in actually managing day-to-day keyword and product level bids, but it also allowed me to simplify my campaign structure, which simplified many other operational tasks. And most importantly, in a head-to-head test against my previous bidding algorithm, smart bidding won. So I do want to mention, though, it doesn't remove the human element of bid management entirely. AI innovations like smart bidding have introduced their own new challenges that need to be managed. Many folks here using target ROAS or maximize conversions might be familiar with the difficult to predict or explain volatility in spend in these algorithms. Sometimes spend might increase 20% week over week on a subset of your ads, and it's hard to explain or to justify it. And so we've taken the many employee hours that I've saved in previously managing bids and reinvested those in tools that manage that spend volatility. All right, next up. Broad match and dynamic search ads. This is another one that I love, that I utilize quite heavily. When paired with smart bidding, these simplify keyword management. So Wayfair sells 25 million products, give or take a few million, across thousands of categories for your home. You probably know us for furniture. You probably know that we sell sofas and dining tables and chairs and beds and nightstands, but Did you know that we also sell bed sheets? We sell dishware, cookware, we sell large appliances. One of my favorites, little known fact, we sell chicken coops. Yeah, we sell pet furniture as well. So there's a lot of product on site, and trying to keep up with all those new product additions required extensive keyword management. Dynamic search ads have also been very helpful as a catch-all tool to just ensure really broad site coverage. We're adding new filters to our browse pages. Really smart folks are creating new landing pages for different curations or trends, and staying on top of that was a lot of work until we had dynamic search ads. Of course, the negative here, yes, there are some irrelevant search queries that get picked up by these tools. And that is very much something new that we have had to invest in and monitor, because when trending keywords pop up, sometimes it takes a good amount of ad spend for the smart bidding algorithms to learn that those are actually irrelevant and poor performing. One of my favorite examples, I don't know if you guys know what, or should I say who, phase rug is. If you don't, go ahead and Google it. We can chat about it later. It's not a rug. It's not something we sell, but we spend a good amount of money figuring that out. All right, so last couple slides are the AI innovations that I'm not quite as excited about yet. First of all, ads and generative AI search results. Well, so let me just say, as a consumer, I am really excited about generative AI search results. Things like AI Overview in Google or Copilot on Microsoft, on Bing. They're really simplifying my search journey. So over here as a marketer, I'm excited about the advertising opportunities here. It's good for consumers. I want to participate in that conversation. And kudos to Google and Microsoft, who are building ads into these experiences and requiring no additional effort on the part of retailers. I don't have to spin up a whole new campaign type to participate there, right? So kudos to them for that. But my TBD side of me is acknowledging that vendors are still experimenting with how to show results here. There's a whole new wide world of user experiences for advertising, and it's really important to me that whoever is owning and operating that Gen AI model, in this case usually the search engines, are the ones that also take responsibility in the user experience for the mistakes or hallucinations that are quite common, right? Because I think consumers are getting used to those mistakes or hallucinations in their one-on-one conversations with ChatGPT, but they're still holding companies accountable for their advertising. So there's an important nuance between, Gen AI search result and Wayfair recommends these products to go along with your search versus search result and we recommend these Wayfair products to go along with your result, right? So I'm kind of monitoring that. We're also going to need to monitor all the new vendors like Perplexity AI that are starting to build their own advertising capabilities. That's going to be incremental effort as well. All right, and last but not least, did you really think we're going to make it through 20 minutes without talking about Performance Max? I probably would have thought I'd done a terrible job if we hadn't gotten here. So one campaign, every channel, right? One campaign to rule them all. When I first heard about this a few years ago, I thought, great, so you're telling me I only need like one team of Performance Max analysts now? I don't need to have separate teams for shopping and search and display and YouTube? Everything in one place? That would be nice, right? And on the pros side, some retailers have found Performance Max to generate more revenue for them, right? And if that's the case, great. It's probably worth any investment. But on the con side, I found, at least in my testing of Performance Max, that I'm not seeing a lot of cannibalization between my sort of upgraded shopping campaigns that are now running on Performance Max and my traditional text display and YouTube campaigns. So I still need to maintain all these different campaign types, all these different channels. Need to make sure that we have the appropriate goals set up for Performance Max across both lower, mid, and upper funnel. So I just haven't found that it simplifies my job yet. All right, so that is basically the end. I'll just leave you with this thought, which is that AI innovations are raising the water level of revenue and profit that's generated by search marketing for everyone, which is fantastic and exciting. But it doesn't mean we can sit back, right? It doesn't mean we can sit back and stop investing and managing our search marketing campaigns. These AI innovations introduce new challenges that also require investment and monitoring. And so keep on top of those if you want to stay on the cutting edge of search marketing. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Annie. What questions do we have?
Oh. Hey, Kevin Washington from Best Buy, in case anybody hasn't met me yet. You touched on a little bit on, I think, your third to last slide on some of the like perplexity and what they're doing with some search stuff. They're taking the approach of, hey, we're actually going to create some products within like allowing folks to buy search and all that. I just bought a bunch of stuff from Best Buy because plug, Best Buy's the best. But I was on ChatGPT and I said, hey, go on Reddit and tell me what the best record player that people are talking about right now is. And then, okay, cool. What speakers go with this? Okay, cool. This is bright. This is warm. I need an amp because they're passive. Okay, which amp should I get? Okay, which cords should I get? Oh, is this cable length too? And I did all of that shopping within there. And sometimes it gave me links, sometimes it didn't. But is there have you looking into that kind of becoming a new way that people are doing search? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great example. All I could think about as you're giving that example is, as a marketer, like, how do I get in there, right? Like, how do I get in those results? That's cool. Like, yeah, people are absolutely learning to shop that way, and we're absolutely staying on top of the opportunities as they present themselves, as new vendors or existing vendors, create those ads. So I'm excited about it. I want to be there. Is it simplifying my job? Probably not, especially if there are new vendors that I need to go build integrations with. I guess the one thing, I'll plug, and I mentioned that we can do today to stay prepared for that shifting in shopping behavior is using broad match. Because as consumers become more comfortable with AI overview or co-pilot responses, their search queries are getting longer, they're asking long questions. And so I think broad match is a helpful sort of keyword management tool to not have to be putting all of those long format queries into my keyword list.
Other questions?
Thank you so much. I'm curious. So Wayfair and other furniture companies have done a lot with like AR and VR and developing tools to help people visualize something that's inherently hard to visualize. How is AI, like in terms of specific tools to give me, other than ChatGPT, which I'm using generally, what are you guys looking at? How do you think consumers are, how ready are we for a sophisticated AI tool that you developed, just a branded one?
I don't know if you were intending for me to answer this way. I swear I didn't plug that question, but we have a fun new tool called Muse that is live to the public, where you can enter in like really interesting inspiration. And this is a tool that Wayfair developed, and it will generate AI images of like rooms, for your home. And so you could do, like pink ballerina bedroom, something like that. And it's going to generate some fun bedroom imagery. Now, those images are entirely from Gen AI. But then the second step, what we do is we take that image and we say, all right, what products are similar to the image that we sell on site? So we have such a vast selection on product on site that it's kind of a fun, unique search tool to see, all right, if I've got, now I got my pink ballerina bedroom, and then what are all the sort of products relevant to that Wayfair sells? So that's one other example of a very unique, I mentioned that AI is creating the opportunity for all sorts of new, unique AI experiences. And that's one that Wayfair has developed.
All right. I actually got one quick question for you for myself. I'm curious, as we talk about things like Performance Max, there's this feeling to me that it's a push towards hands-off control over these campaigns that is just, facilitated by AI. Do you think that the overall baseline entry-level skill needed to be an effective search marketer has been lowered because now you can just simply let the tool run itself? Or has it actually created a separation between your best-in-class marketers and your folks that are just kind of setting and forgetting it and not really digging deeper into the ins and outs of what's actually happening behind that black box that you were describing?
Can both of those be true? Because
Totally.
how I think about it is that these tools are sort of raising the water level, right? So maybe someone with limited to no search experience can create a Performance Max campaign now and can use target ROAS instead of individual CPC bids that they set once and then walked away and never looked at again. And maybe those are more effective than the old world, but they are also more complicated and they're harder to control. And they create, as I mentioned, all sorts of new opportunities, all sorts of new challenges. And so it doesn't mean that anyone can like set and forget it. I mean, if you do, maybe you'll generate a little bit more revenue than you would have 5 years ago. But you need to understand how target ROAS works. You need to set up the right reward function for it. That's incredibly important, right? If you're not defining conversion value appropriately, it's gonna, not make appropriate decisions. So I think there's a certain level of understanding of machine learning algorithms and AI that you need to have to like properly understand how these things are working and properly set them up for success. So yeah, there's definitely still tons of opportunity, lots of new challenges being created that those of us investing in our search campaign management are going to continue to break away by doing.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Annie, so much.
Thank you.